Hey guys, if you are from Mumbai, then you would know that traffic over here sucks. So much traffic. I am commuting to my workplace, but there's a lot of time before I reach there. I was just getting bored and I thought, how can I use my time effectively in the car? I cannot read anything. I've got motion sickness. So I thought the next best thing I can do is teach. So I'm thinking I should just experiment with this. बात ही करना है, मेरे पास टाइम ही टाइम है. सो आई थॉट एक्ट 2 सीन 1 मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस का कर लेते हैं यहाँ बैठे बैठे. अगर किसी को सुनना है तो गुड फॉर यू, नहीं सुनना है तो चिल करो लाइफ में. बट दोज पीपल हु आर इन 9th स्टैंडर्ड हैव दिस सीन. इट्स एक्ट 2 सीन 1. दिस इज द इंट्रोडक्शन सीन ऑफ प्रिंस ऑफ मोरक्को. We've seen him earlier in act 1 scene 3 when Portia had said the servant had come and said a forerunner, a messenger from a 5th suitor who's actually the 7th suitor has come to announce that the prince will be here by tonight. And Portia says that if he has the complexion of a devil but the condition of a saint, I would rather he shrive me than wive me. मतलब अगर इस बंदे का nature अच्छा है but skin dark है, I would prefer that he blesses me and goes but doesn't marry me. So we know that Portia's got this racial prejudice and she doesn't like people with dark skin. And that's what Morocco also knows. The scene takes place in Belmont, a room in Portia's house. You'll see this tiny line over there, flourish of cornets, which simply means sound of trumpets. And there's a lot of pomp and show, you know, in the introduction you can say. There's a lot of color on stage because Prince of Morocco, even though he's dark-skinned, he's very flamboyant, very like rich, pompous, and so is Portia's background, the room. So everything on stage has a lot of colors, all right. And flourish of cornets is sound of trumpets. Pop 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 pop. Prince of Morocco padhar raha hai, aise aata hai sound, okay. And then Morocco enters with his train. The word train matlab attendants, all right. His crew, his entourage. And he enters and he starts off telling Portia, because he knows Portia is prejudiced. He says, mislike me not for my complexion. The word mislike is dislike. Mislike me not simply means do not dislike me for my complexion, for my skin color. The shadowed livery of the burnished sun. Shadowed is dark and livery actually means uniform, but because in this context we are talking about Morocco, he's saying the shadowed, the dark skin. Livery over here is skin. Originally it means uniform, which also makes sense because your skin is the first uniform on your bones. So the shadowed livery, the dark skin of the burnished sun. Burnished is the hot burning sun. To whom I am neighbor because Morocco is closer to the sun. The place Morocco is on the equator, closer to the sun. And near bread is brought up. I've been brought up near Morocco, and that's why I've got a dark skin. Shadow livery of the burnished sun. And then he challenges Portia. He says, you know what, if you're so obsessed with fair skin, do me a favor, bring me the fairest creature northward born. Fairest creature is person. Bring me the fairest person born in the north. Now he could have said east, west, south, whatever, but he says north for the sake of drama, you know. So he says, bring me the fairest creature born in the north. But which place in the north? From that place where the sun's rays can hardly melt the ice. But तुम्हें वो lines नहीं दिख रही है, तुम्हें keywords में लिखना है. So where Phoebus is fire. Phoebus is the sun god. Fire is the sun's heat. Scarce is hardly. Thaws the ice is melts the ice. So bring me the fairest person from that location where sun's rays can hardly ever reach, because logically मैं dark skinned हूँ because of the sun. It burns my skin. So the fairest person would be from the place where the sun's heat or the sun's rays can hardly reach. So वहाँ से वो सबसे fairest लौंडे को लेके आ. Then what will we do? We'll make incision. Let us make incision. Incision is let us make a cut for thee, for you. Why? To see whose blood is reddest, his or mine. His over here is the fairest creature. Us over here is him, as in that fairest creature, and me. So why blood is reddest? Because again, there's a footnote on the side. Elizabethans used to believe the redder your blood, the braver you are. So Morocco says, I'm the bravest person over here. This aspect of mine, aspect over here is trait over here is characteristic over here is feature over here is dark skin. This dark skin of mine has feared the valiant. Feared means scared. The valiant over here is the bravest people have been scared of my dark skin. And the best regarded virgins of my clime have loved it too. Best regarded virgins, that phrase simply means the prettiest women. The prettiest women of my clime over here is land, country, have loved it. It ko underline kar le. It over here is the you over here, the shade over here is the dark skin. They have loved it too. I would not change this hue, H-U-E, matlab color, the skin color. I would not change this hue for anyone. Even if God gives me a chance to, offers me a chance to change my skin color, I wouldn't want to do it, but to steal your love, but to steal your thoughts, only for you, I'd be ready to change my color. So to which Portia tells him that, listen boss, in terms of choice over here online kar, in terms of choosing a husband, I'm not solely led matlab just dependent on. In terms of choosing a husband, I'm not dependent on the nice direction of a maiden's eye. वो पूरे line को online कर ले, nice direction of a maiden's eye. मतलब I'm not dependent on what other women think. He says that in terms of choosing a husband, I don't really care about what other women think. Besides, because obviously it's my choice, right? Why would I, if 1,000 women would love you, doesn't mean I should automatically love you. But it doesn't matter. ये choice boys मेरे life में है ही नहीं ना, because I'm bound by my father's casket. So she says besides, next page पे, besides वाला anyway, the lottery of my destiny मतलब the casket system, ये 3 chests of gold, silver and lead bars me मतलब stops me or prevents me from the right of voluntary choosing. मतलब I can't actually choose a husband of my choice. Voluntary choosing मतलब choosing a husband I really like. I can't do it. But if ये if को circle करते हैं, अब पोर्शिया यहाँ पे ना झूठ बोलती है, उसको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Like she knows that मैं तो चूज करने ही नहीं वाली हूँ, so I can't even reject him. तो क्यों किसी को मैं बोलूँ कि I have a problem with his dark skin? So she tries to be sweet. She says that if my father had not scanted me or hedged me by his wit, समझाता हूँ, पहले wit को underline कर ले, will लिख ले. Will over here is the legal document. Now scanted is stopped me from doing what? From marrying the person of my choice. Hedged over here is forced me to do what? To yield myself. Yield को underline कर. Yield is to submit myself, to give myself as a wife to him, as a wife to somebody who chooses me by the means को underline कर ले. The method which I told you about. कौन सा method है ये which she just told him about? The casket system. So if my father had, a sentence incomplete है, if my father had not stopped me or forced me to give myself as a husband to him, to a person who chooses me by the casket system, वहाँ पे then लिखा नहीं है, but तू then लिख ले. Then renowned prince, then yourself renowned prince, जो भी exact words है, मतलब you, prince of Morocco, respectable prince, for me would stand as fair. वो fair को underline कर ले, pun है वो, fair पे 2 arrows बना ले. एक pun as any word which has 2 implications, so word play है. So fair को underline करके एक पे लिख unbiased, an unbiased chance, an impartial chance, a fair chance. And second fair is fair skinned. Then you for me, Morocco, would be as fair skinned as any other comer को underline कर, suitor that I have looked on yet, on is at, that I have looked at yet for my affection. मतलब अगर मेरे डैड ने ये सब डाला नहीं होता झमेला कैस्केट का, तो मेरे लिए तू उतना ही फेयर स्किन्ड है, या मेरे लिए तुझे इतना ही मैं फेयर चांस देती जितना मैं किसी और को देती. सो नो, आई एम नॉट जजिंग यू बाय योर डार्क स्किन. दैट्स द कॉल बैक. वो डायलॉग स्टार्ट हुआ था विद मोरोको सेइंग डोंट जज मी, एंड शी सेइंग आई एम नॉट जजिंग यू. मोरोको पता है वो झूठ बोल रही है, बट even for that, so Morocco says, at least for saying that, so even for giving me that fair chance, thank you. So that over here is the fair chance that she's giving. That over here का आंसर अगर मैं पूछा, RTC अगर मैं एग्जाम पेपर सेट कर रहा हूँ, I can ask you what does that refer to RTC देके. So the answer चालू होगा besides if my father had not barred me. वहां से चालू होगा end तक, पोर्शिया के डायलॉग तक. He says even for saying that, thank you. So I pray thee, I request you, good fortune. Then ऐसा कुछ तो है बीच में लाइन्स में को एग्जैक्ट याद नहीं है, but he's basically saying that take me to my caskets, by my scimitar. He takes out the sword of his, the scimitar of his, okay? And any phrase in Merchant of Venice that starts with by, or by my something, by this, by that, is him swearing. Now when you swear by something, it has to be something valuable ना, तो ही वो swear का कुछ इज्जत रहता है. So he's also swearing by scimitar, but ये scimitar का इज्जत क्या है, ये scimitar का value क्या है, पहले वो समझाता है. Swear क्या करता है, I'll get to it later. But he says, I swear by this scimitar that slew is killed. Slew comes from slay is to kill. That killed the Sophie, the Persian king. So क्या मतलब, he killed a Persian king. So why is that so important? And the Persian prince. Okay, you killed 2 people. How is that important? That won 3 fields, who have won 3 battles against Sultan Suleiman. Sultan Suleiman is the Turkish Sultan. The Turkish Sultan was a brave person, was already a mafia don. उसको हराया 3 बार Persian king and Persian prince ने. उन दोनों को टपकाया मोरक्को ने अपने sword के साथ. That's how important this sword is. इसलिए इस sword की कसम, this scimitar की कसम, I can, now he says 4 things that he can do for Portia. First thing, I can outstare the sternest eyes. Outstare मतलब तेरे love के लिए, तेरे को जीतने के लिए मैं किसी को घूर के हरा सकता हूँ. This happens when we are driving and we look at people who are cutting us. We will keep giving them that death stare. So he says, I can stare at a person till the person looks away. So I can outstare the sternest eyes. I can outbrave a heart most daring. मतलब I can scare a person who claims to be the most daring heart on the earth, and I can pluck a young sucking cubs, matlab the kids. I can pluck, matlab snatch. I can snatch the kids, baby bears, when they are feeding on the mother bear. Why would he do that? Pata nahi, kya idiot hai. But wo bol raha hai ki I can do this. So when he says that, everybody in the court is like, oh my god, really, is he that brave? And he says, yeah. So that YEAS, yeah, I can do that. And fourth point, I can mock the lion. I can make fun of a lion when he's hungry for prey. Essentially what he's saying is I can do the most impossible brave task that anyone else would be scared to do to win thee. तेरे को जीतने के लिए. But alas the while मतलब क्या unfortunate circumstances है. यहाँ पे मेरा bravery काम ही नहीं आता है. क्या काम आता है? Luck काम आता है. And then he goes on to say the story of Hercules and Lichess. My pronunciation may be wrong, I'm admitting it, because it's a proper noun. Lichess, Lychess, Lycus, Lacha, Lachu, जो बुलाने का बुलाओ, spelling correct लिखना. So he says that Hercules and Lichess, if they play at dice is, you know, there can be several games with dice. Over here he's saying, let's say they roll the dice and the winning throw, the greater throw, comes from the winning hand. Matlab, let's say Hercules, the strongest man in Greek mythology, is rolling dice with his servant Lichess. There's a chance that the winning throw, the greater number, can come from the weaker hand. Weaker hand ko underline kar. Weaker hand over here is Lichess, his servant, his page, P-A-G-E, matlab servant, messenger. And thus Alcides may lose. Alcides is another name for Hercules. Same बंदा है वो, Hercules ही Alcides है. वो बोल रहा है कि अगर Hercules the strongest man roll करता है dice, तो भी ऐसा नहीं कि वो जीतेगा, because rolling the dice, the game of dice is not based on strength. It's based on luck. It's based on fortune. So just as Hercules loses against Lichess, so may I. नेक्स्ट पेज पे उसके बाद ब्लाइंड फॉर्चून वाले लाइन है, उसको 2 मिनट इग्नोर करो, पैरेंथेसिस है, उसको नहीं पढ़ेंगे अभी के लिए. सो मे आई, और नेक्स्ट लाइन में दिया मिस, वो मिस को ऑनलाइन कर. मिस मतलब लूज. सो मे आई लूज दैट मतलब पोर्शिया, अनलाइन दैट, राइट ऑन पोर्शिया, विच सम अनवर्दियर मे विन. मतलब जिस तरह Hercules loses his fortune and can lose against a weaker guy, even I, the strongest man over here, the most courageous person, can lose against an unworthier suitor, can lose Portia, because वो first line पे आ जा, blind fortune is leading me. Blind fortune को circle का 3 marks के लिए question आएगा. What is the allusion of blind fortune? Why is fortune called blind? So बाजू में दिया हुआ है in the footnotes. Fortune was depicted as blindfolded because she is unfair in the goddess Fortune is unfair in her distribution of gifts to mankind. सही बात है ना. जो लोग बहुत मेहनत करते हैं उनके पास पैसे नहीं होते, जो लोग कभी कभी मेहनत नहीं करते वो लोग के पास बहुत सारे पैसे होते हैं. लक अजीब चीज है. एग्जाम्स में भी तुम्हारे साथ होता है, जो पढ़ के नहीं आता है वो कॉपी करके पास हो जाता है, जो बहुत पढ़ाई करता है वो शायद पास ना हो या अच्छे मार्क्स ना है उसको. लक बहुत अजीब चीज होती है, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड ब्लाइंड फोल्डेड. ओके, सो आई एम बीइंग लेड बाय ब्लाइंड फॉर्च्यून. सो ऐसा मेरा लाइफ है. सो पोर्शिया उसको बोलती है कि रो मत, ये वो करना है तो कर, नहीं करना तो मत कर. बट इफ यू आर चूजिंग, सो ईदर यू don't choose at all or swear before you choose. Matlab, if you are going to go ahead and choose the casket, then you have to swear that in case you choose the wrong casket, then you will never woo a lady in the way of marriage or marry a lady. जो भी exact framing है वो words का देख लेना. But basically that's one of the 3 conditions that people have to take an oath for. Okay, if you choose the wrong casket, you can never get married to a lady ever afterwards. Okay, and Morocco says no, will not, as in no, I don't even want to marry anyone. Portia says fine, then let's proceed to the temple first. She wants to take church, but she feels that Morocco just places है शायद temple उसको ज़्यादा समझ में है, ignorance. But she says let's go to the temple where your oath will be taken and then your hazard will be taken. Hazard मतलब then your risk will be taken. Risk over here is caskets will be chosen. Morocco says fair, then good fortune, then मतलब all the best to me, to make me the blessed or cursed amongst men. Blessed मतलब if I win you then I'll be the luckiest person, and if I lose you I'll be the most cursed person. Did that help? I think it should have helped you. We are done with Act 2 Scene 1. ऐसे ही टाइम मिला तो मैं और भी सीन्स करवा लेगा फटाफट. Love you guys, bye.